Just stick with us for a second, because the mini announcement is basically that I'm going to do a lot more live streams, but on a scheduled basis, because that's what people requested, rather than just do it when I'm going on for a walk or whatever. I've decided to do a live stream on a Monday and a Wednesday at 7 o'clock, UK time, of course, in the evening, and pick a specific topic, so not just a random live Q&A, as this will probably turn out to be. And keep it under half an hour as well, because I find that, well, I don't, people tend not to watch a live stream when it's, after it's gone out, afterwards, because you can watch live streams, a day, two, a week later. So it's basically a way of increasing content for the channel without increasing the amount of time I have to put into it massively. I mean, this, for example, if it's a half-hour stream, you've probably got an hour's work, 15 minutes before, after, and the stream itself. Whereas a normal video, an edited one if you like, that's, I don't know, 4 to 12 hours or more. So the Friday video, the video that goes out every Friday, that isn't going to change. So if you don't like live streams or you're just not interested, the normal Friday video is going to be as it always has been for years. So that's basically it really. It's Monday, Wednesday, 7 o'clock every week. I might change it, I might drop it down to one day. See what the feedback tells me, basically. So for this one, it's just basically an announcement, so we might as well make it just a random Q&A. I'm going to try and, as I say, keep it under half an hour, because that's ultimately it's a long video. People don't watch long videos even when they're not live. So let's try and be efficient on this one. Tell me where you are. I always like to know where people are in the world if they're watching this live. I think the last one was Dubai, for the furthest away or coolest location. So where are you? Unless you're in Lancashire, then I'm not interested. Any questions? Anything at all? Any feedback about this? Positioning of the camera. Can you hear me okay? That sort of stuff. Then, yeah. Let's get it out of the way now. I'm just going to have a quick drink. And welcome to rainy Yorkshire. Yes, they said it was going to be sunny today, but no, it's throwing it down. And I've basically spent the entire day outside cleaning the Mini. Video on its way, which is only halfway through, so I've got another day of that tomorrow. That won't be like the Model 3 where I ceramic coated it. It's basically going to be excuse me, getting the best out of a light coloured car. That's the plan. And how to, do you know the black trim, black plastic, how to get that back to new, basically, how to restore the trim. So look out for that one. Let's go through a few messages. I may miss some, so apologies for that. We have Cape Verde, Dumbarton in Scotland, Middlesbrough, Washington. I'm guessing that is America, but there is a Washington over here. Huddersfield, I went to university at Huddersfield. Missouri, Luxembourg, Leicestershire, Vancouver. Wow, a lot of messages. If I miss yours, I apologise. Excuse me. Rotterdam, do want to visit that. Ontario, Canada. I love Canada, nearly moved there. Derbyshire, Burnley. Burnley, well, no one's perfect. Newcastle, South Wales, Dundee, Torquay, Norfolk. All over the place here. It looks like there is a boob at the bottom of your video. It's my microphone. It's a Snowball Blue. I'm going to get one of those arms, so I look like a proper YouTuber. That should be here shortly. Sat in the garden. Oh, hello. Yes. Show off. It's sunny in Essex, apparently. Manchester, Falkirk, Budapest, Donny, Burnley again. Lots of people in Burnley. Liverpool, hello. What is something you don't like about the Tesla Model 3? Well, when I get to drive it, I'll let you know. I don't know, really. At the moment, there's nothing that really stands out that's made me think, oh, I'm not a fan of that, but I've not used it enough to know yet, to be perfectly honest with you. The cost, there you go, the cost of it. I wish it was cheaper. Cambridge, Sweden. Me was going to go to Sweden in a couple of weeks. In fact, we were planning on travelling to Norway in a couple of weeks for about 9 days, I think it was, 10 days. But of course, that's been called off. So do want to travel all over Europe in the Model 3 when when it's safe to do so, of course. Is the camera okay for everybody in terms of, is the quality all right, that sort of thing? Let me know. Missouri, again, America. Clitheroe, Lancashire. Yorkshire, Brilliant. Try saying my village. Misigwatha. I've no idea where that is. Portland, Oregon. Right, questions. Anything about cars, YouTube, EVs, whatever. Good evening. As you have an Ohmi cable, I have an Ohmi charger, so it's not a cable, it's the physical, it's the fit one. Are you on Octopus Agile or Go? I'm on Go at the moment and thinking of Agile. I'm on Agile. There's a reason for it I can't tell you about yet, but I think I probably would have stuck with Agile anyway. It depends on whether or not you can move at least some of your electric usage out of peak time. But I think, certainly at the moment, with lower usage on the grid because people aren't working as much, Agile is cheaper at the moment, but you can change things to make one cheaper than the other, so see which is better. You can change to Agile and back to Go again. You don't have to stick with one or anything. There's no minimum term. Right, all good there. I will be in the South Pacific Islands soon. Nice. Kinross, Scotland, what's your thoughts on the possibility of Tesla vehicle to grid and all the possibilities that go with it? Selling back power, etc., and having a mobile power wall. You know what? I'm not a massive fan of vehicle to grid because I don't know, 40-45% of UK households obviously can't use it, but that doesn't mean it's useless. I just think that, I mean, for me, the car, right now, the car's not here. My wife's at work. If under normal circumstances, lockdown aside, I would be at work during the day, she would be at work in the evening. So it would be utterly pointless in paying for extra hardware to do the vehicle to grid. So if it's like I don't know, if you can use your normal charger or if it's a couple of £100 for the hardware, it does make sense. But if it's like 1,500 or £2,000 for the vehicle to grid hardware, as I think it is at the moment, if you wanted to buy it for the new Leaf, it's just not worth it. I'd rather have a proper home battery. Lighting better than usual videos. I am working on it. I have got various things up, but I can open that because the sun's not blinding me at the moment. What's the highest mileage Leaf you've heard of? Leaf, Nissan Leaf you've heard of? 185,000, I think, maybe 200 taxis. There's quite a lot of them. Have you purchased full self-driving option on your Model 3? No, because I don't think it will ever get released in the next, well, in the time I will own the car. I think it'll be years before you can properly make use of what you would term automatic full self-driving. It's what, £6,000? It's not worth it for me. My Renault dealer talks about new Zoe deals. Any idea what they are? Yes, I've seen a couple of grand off brand new Zoes. They are there are some deals on that one. I can let you know about a nice friendly Renault dealer if you want to contact one. Do you have solar on your house? No, I don't, but watch this space. Do you think scrappage scheme should come back, but only on BEV and FEV? No, because we can't really produce enough electric vehicles to supply the people that do want them. So probably not. No, I think it will happen naturally by itself. Agile is best. They haven't billed me since December. Yeah, they do seem to have a few issues, do Octopus, with billing, but eventually it will get sorted out. Even in these circumstances, are you glad you bought the Tesla? Yes, because I waited over 4 years to get it. I just hope it's as good as I hope it is. But part of the reason to buy a Tesla, for me anyway, is the supercharger network, especially if you've got lots of plans to drive all over Europe. Should all EVs be able to go to grid? That will be vehicle to grid that I've mentioned already. So if it's simple and easy and it's a no-cost option for the manufacturer to include, then yeah, it's a why not. But if it's going to be £1,000 option on the car for that capability or something silly, maybe not so much. Waiting for Model Y. What is your thoughts? You know what? I think the Model 3 looks better than the Y. And it's got a huge boot. Yes, it's not a hatchback, but you've got the frunk as well. So, personally, I'm not that bothered. The Model 3 is more than big enough and it's slightly cheaper too. So, I'd go for the Model 3, to be perfectly honest with you. What have you been binge watching during lockdown? Not much, really. In fact, me personally, because my wife's not into it, I've been rewatching Babylon 5 because It's probably one of the best sci-fis ever made. I'm just at the bit where they're about to go and take Earth back from the president. Only geeks will know what I've just said then. If you didn't buy your Tesla, what was your second choice? It would have probably been the Kia e-Niro, I think. That's probably what would have gone with. Nothing else really. Kind of ticks all the boxes as well as that one. But it is expensive. Is the fact that that in the UK that the MG ZS EV doesn't have an app and can't do a time chat. No, it doesn't have an app, at least not yet in the UK, and that is a bit of an annoyance really. But hopefully they will solve that eventually, and it will apply to all cars, not just new ones. Kilometers or miles high mileage? I always mean miles. Any car with CHAdeMO can do vehicle to grid. That's just the Japanese then. Vancouver Island here. My trip to Yorkshire this year is obviously on hold. I've been to Vancouver Island, went to Butchart Gardens, beautiful place. Why did you start YouTube? Pure curiosity. I wanted to see what it were like, what you do, how you upload stuff, and the only thing I could think of that was even vaguely unique that I had was the Leaf. We just bought the Leaf. I thought, oh well, there's not many channels about electric vehicles. Let's start that. So it was completely accidental. Now it's taking over my life. Do you think the EV second-hand market will pick up soon? Yeah, it's going to do, but it's going to obviously wait for lockdown, and obviously the economy is going to take a hit. People are going to have less money. But I think a lot of EVs are going to be in big demand after this. The cleaner air, the climate, things like that. So I know why you've asked that question. Yourself, anybody wants to buy a 9-month-old Renault Zoe 40 kilowatt hour top spec in that aconite purple, I think it is. Let me know. I know where there's one going from a relatively trusted source. What do you think about Tesla utility? Until we know more details, I'm going to hold off on that because I can't really say anything about. I don't know anything about. Right, next. Can't see the point in an Outlander doing vehicle to grid. Yeah, I get what you mean. It's only got a 3.5 kilowatt battery. It's not really going to make a big difference, but most home batteries are around 5. So 5 to 8. So maybe if it's a no-cost option, again, why not? Have you thought about having a Powerwall even without solar? I wish I could say something right now, but I can't. And Powerwall's too expensive for me. There are other alternatives. Do you have to press buttons on the wall charger, or just plug it in and away it goes? Just plug it in and away it goes. Star Trek Next Generation is the new old one. Star Trek Next Generation is the new old one. Well, yes, I guess it is. It's old to some of us anyway. Do you think the government should be prioritising the sale of EVs and delaying the sale of ICE cars? Not really, because it would cripple the companies that we want to make the cars. We have to be realistic. If we suddenly said stop selling ICE cars, it would, well, they'd just fold, or they'd just pull out of the UK. So you have to be realistic, economically speaking, not just the environment. So it's a tough one. Have you looked at Octopus Energy's new shared power charging service with contactless payments? No, I haven't, but I think there's more to come on that one. So I haven't been out of the house. I haven't charged out of the house this year, I don't think. Pardon me. Yes, great shout out for Babylon 5. It is awesome. Do you have a tow pack on your Model 3? No, I don't, because I've never towed in my life, and I don't think I probably ever will. Wasn't worth the £1,000 extra for me, and those that have spec'd it seems to really delay the delivery, massively. So for that alone, it was something I was never going to go for. I'm 6'5". When I fit behind the wheel of an M3, or wait for the Model Y. As far as I know, the Model Y is the same size as the Model 3, as in the same length anyway. It's just a bit taller, and I don't think the front is really any different, but. Yeah, basically. The Model 3 is the same size as a BMW 3 Series. So if you can fit in that alright, then you can probably fit in the Tesla Model 3. Right, I'm going to have to skip some questions on here because there are just too many. In fact, before I go any further, I need ideas for Wednesday's live stream. A specific topic that we can pick. Maybe vehicle to grid would be a good one. So give me some ideas about Wednesday's theme, if you like, and I'll pick one and we'll do that on Wednesday. Right, so let me get back to these questions. I'm going to have to skip a few, like I said. Should the government offer 0% VAT on EVs after the virus? Again, no, because it's not like anybody's struggling to sell them, and given the state of the economy and the amount of money we won't have after this, it's probably not a great idea. There is zero benefit in kind, so there are stuff out there which is encouraging things. Will you be reviewing the Mini Cooper S Electric? I was, until the lockdown happened. In fact, I had many launches and a few press cars on the way, which of course have been cancelled now. So that's completely changed the content of this channel massively. There's a few people have said that because I'm not reviewing cars anymore, they might unsubscribe, but it's not by choice. Unless you live in a cave, there's clearly a reason why nobody is reviewing cars, at least not in the UK anyway. What is the best type of vehicle if you can't charge an EV at home? Well, some people do manage with a full electric vehicle. It depends on your local charging infrastructure. If not, then it would have to be a plug-in hybrid, I guess. Depends on your budget, I suppose. Right, on tech, from what I have been reading, we are not going to get it until German Tesla factories open and working. I'm guessing you mean the Model Y. Who knows? It will be next year before the Model Y is out, definitely. What do you think about Genie Point charge prices? I think horrible. I'm not sure what they are. Have they gone up recently? Because some are more expensive than Genie Point. As long as it works, that's the main thing for me. I don't mind paying extortionate Ionity fees, as an example, if I can guarantee it will always work when I get there. Obviously now I've got the supercharger network, but for me reliability is the first thing before price. How many people who arrived at a broken charger would have paid more to access a working one? Right, will the EV market, especially in the UK, start to build cars for towing, as there is many of us owning caravans? Well, the Model X can tow right now, and the Audi e-tron can as well. I'm not sure about the Mercedes EQC. But to be honest, don't tow a caravan. It's just... I'm one of those that gets stuck behind a caravan every time. I live in the countryside. There's no passing opportunities on a lot of the roads I drive on, and you get stuck behind a caravan. That's just it. So stop buying caravans is what I'm going to say. Right. How many years now? I started watching you 4 years ago. It will be the 5th anniversary of the channel in about 3 or 4 weeks. So I'll be doing a big giveaway, basically. I don't know the full details yet, but there will be a celebration week, a 5th year anniversary. I think it's first, second week of June, something like that. So yeah, 5 years almost doing this. Probably 2 or 3 in properly doing it, in terms of regular videos. I too think the 3 is better liking than the Y, but the Y is more versatile. Yeah, it is, but I don't think I will be able to do anything in the Model Y that I couldn't in the 3, apart from maybe do a bulky tip run. So I'd probably save some money and get a Model 3 with a tow bar, personally, but I haven't seen or driven the Model Y yet, so who knows. Although the Model Y does have a heat pump, a much more efficient heater. Hopefully they're going to stick that in the Model 3. That does make a difference. Surely best to buy new EV than any second-hand car, as the retained value will be much better, not to mention near zero running costs. Depends on which. You can go buy a second-hand electric car as well. Petrol cars need to be used up. We don't want a 3-4 year old petrol car really to just sit there and waste away. There is an economic, an environmental impact when you produce a car, so they will eventually fade out. And there's of course the support services. You've got to think of the garages and whatnot that will be affected if there was a sudden ban on petrol cars and things. So it's about that balance, I suppose, between the economy and the environment. We don't want to destroy one to save the other. Right. I think full self-driving is going to come faster than you think. I hope so. But I believe they're going to do a subscription with full driving, which who knows how much it'll be. But basically, you can buy like 1 month's worth of FSD. So if you're going on a long trip somewhere, you can buy a month and then it just stops working after that. That I like the sound of. How much would you expect to pay for a full charge using your home charger in your Tesla Model 3? That will be... Well, I'm currently averaging 5.4 pence per kilowatt hour. And I think, is it 50 kilowatt hour, the Model 3? Usable battery? Something like that. So, yeah, £2.50 to £3, say. Pennies, basically. Excuse me, I'm going to burp. Pardon me. I had to wolf my tea down because I've been cleaning the car. I had to make the tea for me and Alice. And then he's like, oh no, I've got to do a live stream very soon. Lorna's at work, so you know this is going to be fun scheduling this every day. I'm sure I will forget one day, so I'm going to have to leave reminders all over the place. Right, Wednesday's topic. Let's get a few ideas for that. What topic shall I talk about specifically? Just for that Wednesday video, what shall I talk about? Give me some ideas. We've got some already. Which contactless charging cards are most useful in the UK? Well, debit ones really, payment cards, or your phone. Really, there's no specific card that I would go for. How much is the supercharger cost? I think it's about 22 pence per kilowatt hour, I believe. Something like that. It's not too much. EV bicycles. I don't know enough about them to do a video or even a live stream about electric bicycles. I would love to get one just to see what it's like, but they're not cheap to buy and it's a lot to spend just for a video. So yeah, that's one possibility. Maybe I could learn as much as anyone else, just ask the question rather than answer it. Right, only just joined the live session. Have you told everyone about the solar panels and the Powerwall install? I'm not getting a Powerwall. I may be getting solar. Maybe. Again, watch this space. Powerwall's expensive and it's the only one most people know about, but there are alternatives out there. The other major problem with motorway chargers will be not enough spaces and all occupied. Depends who's running the network, of course. The electric highway only put an extra charger in if they see theirs full all the time. But given the reliability, they're never going to be full all the time. Will you be at the next fully charged public event in Europe? Depends on when they do it. I think it's planned for November still. And I'll be honest, I don't really want to go because what do you do at an event like Fully Charged Live, a trade event? You go up to a stand and talk to somebody, you know, and you've got loads of people around you. And if it's anything like the last two, I'll have loads of people coming up to me just to say hello, which is brilliant. I love doing that, but it's the last thing I want right now, given the current situation. Loads of people coming up to you, wanting, oh, hello, how are you doing? And going up to trade stands. So personally, I think they shouldn't be running it even in November, even if legally they're allowed. I think a lot of the companies that will want to host there will probably think, well, I don't know about this, you know. I will be there, but probably not if it's in this calendar year. Certainly, hopefully something will change, something will happen. Model Y has hugely more rear legroom and comfort compared to the 3. The 3 makes your knees stick up in the air if over about 5 foot tall. I've not noticed that. The rear seats I find are very comfortable, but yes, a taller car tends to make you sit up higher, so your legs do that. So I guess maybe it's basically a Model 3 for tall people. That seems to be what it is. It'd be interesting to know the price difference between the 3 and the Y in the UK. I'm guessing a couple of £1,000. Right, let's scroll down a bit more. Again, I'm going to have to just skip some questions here because I'm way behind. Let's start this. What will you buy when you replace the Mini? I don't know. I'm not ready to let go of a nice petrol engine car yet. So I don't think I'll be getting rid of it anytime soon. I might buy a newer Mini. I don't know. I like a hot hatch. I like a nice petrol engine. I like something that pops and bangs out the back because I'm a child. I am a car fan. Petrol, electric. As I've said a million times before, you are allowed to like both. You don't have to like electric or petrol. But that's the car that gets very little use, so it can be a more fun car. I've never had a two-seater, but until there's only two of us again, I guess it's going to stay that way. But I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Probably keep it for longer than I typically keep a car, especially considering I haven't actually driven it in about 3 months, partly because we're not going anywhere, and any time we have gone anywhere, I've been in the Tesla. What do you think about the clean air over major world cities? Well, I've done a video about that, as you should know. I think it will have an effect. I don't live in a city, so to me, clean air is normal. I live in the countryside, but I don't know. If you live in the city, have you noticed a tangible difference in the air quality? If you live in London, for example, are you sipping from a non-EVM brandy bottle? Yes, I am. This is what I had when I was cleaning the car. There will be a relaunch of sorts of merchandise, mugs, flasks, things like that, and changing the t-shirts and a fleece. Basically, the fleece you've probably seen me wearing in some of the videos, but I'll do that when I have time. Next, right, talk about Tesla tribalism / cult. Yes, there is a bit of that, and I know Transport Evolved done a video, was it yesterday or the day before, about it. I mean, when I bought the Model 3 and announced it, something like 1,000 to 1,500 people unsubscribed. So it's more of a case of, I didn't lose subscribers, it just didn't go up for quite some time. So I don't know, some people I think do consider Tesla owners a little smug. I think that's right to say. The amount of times when I had the Leaf, I got someone say, buy a Tesla, buy a Tesla, buy a Tesla, as if I could just go out and get one. That might be a topic. I will write that one down. EV upgrades, video stream idea. You can, like Muxan. Muxan is a company in Europe that can replace, like Nissan Leaf batteries with newer versions of the batteries. I'd prefer to go there and do a proper video on that one, but yeah, keep the ideas coming. Wednesday, your solar panel and power install. I haven't got any solar panels. I haven't got a power wall. There's nothing on my house right now, so think of the future. And I'm not getting a power wall. I can't afford one. What about live stream on new battery technology? It's kind of vague, and I'd need to know what would be coming out to do that. Yeah. Vehicle to grid might be one, I think, for Wednesday. There seems to be a lot of people asking about that one, so maybe that's what Wednesday's topic should be. My God, have I been on nearly half an hour already. If you ever lived, worked or driven through a national park in summer, you'll have spent a lifetime queuing, waiting for a caravanner to learn to reverse between the dry stone walls. Exactly. Have you been to near Whitby, where there's that really steep hill that caravans are banned from? You always get someone stopping there going, oh no, I've missed the signs for the last 3 miles. Right, let's scroll down. I'm going to scroll down to the newer ones because I've got tons and tons and tons to go through here. Hydrogen, making transport and usage for future transportation. Hydrogen's a tough one. That's a tough video to do, but it is something which I think needs a bit of discussion. Hi from Hawaii. Just joined. I've just had solar installed 2 weeks ago. You have sun. I live in Yorkshire. I don't. Still not using it yet. Waiting for the local electric company to approve the install. I'd love to go to Hawaii. Yeah, I think that's one of the bucket list places. Have you switched from Agile to Agile from Go? I did that many months ago. For Wednesday, the best way the government can encourage EV take up. Yeah, that's another one. I need a few here. I'll probably ask on Wednesday about a topic for the following Monday, but I'm trying to write down a few ideas here. I have an 8-bar 2011 Leaf. Where in Yorkshire can I get a battery swap out? Nowhere, unfortunately. You're going to have to travel for that sort of thing. Typically, though, at the moment, it's cheaper to sell that and buy a newer Leaf than do a swap. I might be wrong, and I haven't looked into it, but let me know. I don't think there's anywhere in Yorkshire, though. It's still kind of a niche thing. I live in Bath, and the air is definitely cleaner. Have you had any problems charging your Tesla? None at all, because I'm not driving it. But no, not at all. It's all being charged at home, clearly. So no, it's just plug and play, really. What company is a good company for leasing an electric car from? the cheapest. Drive Electric is one I've heard of, but I don't know anything about. I would just find whoever could do the cheapest one, to be honest, and do your research, make sure they are reputable, but whoever's cheapest I would always probably go with, and has at least some reputation, not like a new company. Right, have you ever owned or wanted to own an original 1960s or 70s Mini? Yeah, I've been in a few like really old classic ones as a passenger, and I think they're quite cool to own and that, but to drive probably less so, and I don't have space for a proper spare car to be sat around, so no, the Mini for me, the Mini Cooper S I've got with a few John Cooper Works editions is the best hot hatch around at the moment. It's got personality, it's fun, there's lots of extras you can get that don't screw up the warranty, or at least when it was in warranty. There's like the John Cooper Works exhaust I've got it's from Mini, and it just works. You don't have to get a third party one, so I kind of like that that accessorised thing that Mini do. In fact, there's loads of stuff out there. And it's very efficient for what it is. A 2-litre twin well, not twin turbo, is it? It's a 2-litre turbo car, and if I want to drive it economically, I'll get 50-60 miles per gallon out of it. And it's got well over 200 brake horsepower, so it's just a fun car. That's why I originally got it, and I still love it to this day because I don't drive it enough. Right, I'll go through a few more questions. We've been going just over half an hour. I guess this is the announcement video, so I can get away with it. But this is how quickly it goes, does time. So it's, I don't know, should I keep it under half an hour? I think it does make sense, because I do want people to watch these after the fact when they're no longer live. Given your now best mates with Bill Ford, I am, before the virus, when were you expecting to have a drive in the Mach-E? I was never given a date, but I always assumed it'd be around July-ish, when they start to creep out, in terms of probably a month or two before you can pick them up if you bought one. It's up in the air at the moment, of course, so hopefully it won't change things too much. The virus lockdown will be eased a little bit, because I do really highly rate that car. In fact, when someone said what car would you get instead of the Model 3, the Mach-E could well have been it, actually. Once I've properly driven it, I was very, very impressed. And not just because they flew me out first class to Los Angeles, I promise. Very nice car, and a bit of personality, something which a lot of EVs are missing. Future topic. I've just missed your message, sorry. I've scrolled down and lost everything. I am useless. Here we go. Future topic, electricity tariffs for EVs. I've already done a video about that very recently, about which is the cheapest. Have a look in the channel. I've watched someone who plugged in his Tesla and said it wouldn't charge. No, I've had no problems. Hydrogen is a bad idea. For some aspects, yes, it's an uneconomical idea, I think, for personal transportation. I got America to start the first ever DEED, Drive Electric Earth Day. I've not heard of that one. Right, do you have a data logger for your Tesla? No, I've thought about getting one. I know there's a couple around, like Teslafy. If you don't know what it is, it basically logs all the data that the car saves. I probably will, just because. Do you think the Tesla semi-truck will ever be sold in the UK? I don't see why it wouldn't, but it's taking its time to come out, isn't it? What home charger do you have? I have an Ohme charger. OHME, if you don't know what it is. I'm getting a lot of questions from people who have missed videos in my channel, so I would encourage people to go to the channel, click on videos, and scroll through it all. I've done very specific videos about the best charger, in my opinion, even a home buyer's guide for charger installations. So I know sometimes it's a pain to look through the history of a channel, but there's a lot in there already. Excuse me, my tea is repeating on me. Not going to be long now. I'm going to sign off in the next kind of 5-ish minutes, so get your questions in whilst you can. Wednesday, classic conversions. Who's in? Check out MX-5 conversion on YouTube. That's another one. I think EV conversions. I've done a video about it in the past. Not a great one, where we just kind of thought what would be good to change in terms of an old car into an electric one. But yeah, maybe something to revisit. Great first live show. Hello, very good. Already looking forward to Wednesday. It's just killing time, isn't it? I think that's partly what it is. And as I said, this is much easier for me to do than a proper video. I mean, the Ecotricity video, the one where I said, is it time for it to go? I think I did it about, 2 or 3 hours of research, 2 or 3 hours of filming, and about 4 hours minimum of editing, all just for a 15-minute video. So these live streams are a dream compared to that. But don't worry, live streams will be on Monday and Wednesdays, but the normal Friday video, if you don't like live streams, won't change. That is still going to be normal, and that isn't going to change at all. I don't want to stop doing proper videos. I watched your video on the yearly savings between EV and ICE car. Do you mean savings you can put away in the bank, or would you need to use it in other areas of upkeep? No, it's I mean, well, sometimes the electric car is more expensive, so the cheaper running costs offset that. But if you compare a 20 grand car with a 20 grand electric car, or a 30 grand electric car with a 30 grand petrol car, or whatever, then the running costs will be significantly lower, and you can do what you want with the money then. 1 hour would be best for live stream. It would, but I want people to watch it after the fact as well. And if I ever go on a channel, one that I follow, and I see a live stream and it's an hour long, I tend never to click on it. So I don't know. I'll probably start with half-hour ones for specific topics and just see how it goes, really. Although I'll probably not be able to stop talking if knowing me. Only driven my Mercedes 250e, 60 miles in 2 months. Not even charged for more than 4 hours. Well, yep. Exactly the same as a lot of us, unfortunately. They're just not getting any use. I lived and worked in the lake for 20 years. Most amusing, yet worrying caravan sighting. I was watching a damn soul towing a caravan up Windrose. The look of sheer panic on his face was priceless. Yeah, that is basically the steep hill, I think, isn't it, where they're banned. What's the best EV for carrying mountain bikes? Any that go as a rack, I suppose. An MG ZS EV would be good. You'd be able to buy one of those. Renault's always can take mountain bikes. I guess it depends on how many and how secure it is. I would think the bigger cars are more suited to it, though. Do you think they should bring back the 2-week lease to allow people to try EVs before buying? I assume you mean when Nissan did you could take one for 4 days, was it? 4-day test of a Leaf before buying. If you mean that, yeah. I mean, the reason we bought the Leaf, the first Leaf, was because we got it for 4 days, a demo, to see if it would suit, and it did, and then we got one. They don't do that now, so for me that's a downside of what Nissan have changed. I just ordered an Omi charger. Okay, yeah, it's very good, and teamed with Agile on Octopus Energy, very cheap to run too. Zero EV Bristol are currently doing an MX-5. Alright, cool. What is the real world motorway range of a Peugeot E2008? 100 maybe, 105. Depends on time of year, of course, and temperature, but I would probably say about 105, 110 maybe. I watched your latest video on Ecotricity. I think that's what puts me off buying an EV at the moment. There's more than enough chargers out there on different networks to not worry about it. You might just have to come slightly off the motorway rather than use services, but I really wouldn't worry about it. That is not a reason to not go for an EV. Now you know about it. It's slightly less convenient, but it tends to always work when you stick with other charge networks. So if you want to go for it, go for it. It really isn't a problem. Do you think the upcoming Dacia EV will make a big impact if it's going to be as cheap as they are indicating? Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know how cheap it's meant to be, but I think the cheapest EV will make an impact, just like the MG ZS EV has made an impact because it's the cheapest kind of decent sized family SUV by some margin. So if it's not terrible, as in the interior's really cheap to make up for the batteries or anything, then yeah, look forward to it. Right, a few more minutes now and then I'll come off. No point replacing a battery in an old Leaf, at least not in the USA. I have a 2012 Leaf with 10 bars and I brought it to a local dealer for an estimate on a new battery, $10,000. Don't take it. Who goes to a dealer to get any work done on an old car? No one ever does that with a petrol car, or very few anyway, unless it's specialist. There's bound to be someone in America that does battery swaps for Leafs that isn't a main dealer. Just Google it, find, have a search around, ask people. There is definitely going to be people out there that will do it considerably cheaper, and it'll be a refurb rather than a brand new one. Right, a few more. I do prefer shorter videos. Me too. Government can't manage the country. What a mess if they took over charging. They're not going to take over charging, just probably fund it. I know electric vehicles are classed as zero emissions. Do you think the government may start to do VED, vehicle excise duty, taking into account the CO2 emission from the electricity used to charge the cars? No, because that can change. You could change that by changing your electricity provider, so it'd be impossible to know. I personally think we'll end up with a pence per mile sort of situation with VED in the future. So it doesn't matter what you're driving, you'll just pay for how far you drive it, which ultimately is a fairer thing. The guy with a classic Ferrari that pays hundreds of pounds for his car tax and does 500 miles a year, that's not as fair as somebody who pays no car tax like me and could do 50,000 miles in a year. So I think that's what we'll end up with. 95% of my journeys would mean I charge at home, so I shouldn't be put off my poor motorway charge. No. How do you deal with people who are public on social media about the issues of EVs with incorrect false facts? How do you deal with people who are public on social media about it? Do you mean someone who is on social media that says something which is incorrect? You just got to put evidence up to counter them, really. If you cannot still then persuade them, even if you put up tons of evidence to say this is the case and they still don't agree with you, you're just banging your head against a wall, really. It's as I've said before, it's like trying to persuade a flat earther that it's not flat. It doesn't matter what you say, they have already decided that any evidence you put forward is a conspiracy. So best to ignore them, really. I am concerned that there are lots of new EVs coming out, but they all seem to be at the 40,000 price tag. There needs to be more at lower price. To be honest, there's actually more at the 30 than the 40, and there's quite a few in the 20 coming up. Mid to high 20, I guess, but manufacturers have gone for bigger batteries first, and unfortunately that means they're all at the higher end of the pricing bracket. They all think that people must have 200-300 miles of range, which forces them to put expensive batteries in, and basically ends up being a £40,000 car. So Mini, for example, they've put a small battery in. It's priced at the same price as a petrol car, and everyone's having a go at Mini for producing a car that only does 115 miles. But ultimately, that's what it has to be to make it at that price point. So it will get there. It will get there. There is a company in Holland that do Leaf battery swaps and upgrades, but they're not cheap. As EVs become more and more prevalent, what do you think this is going to do for folk working in ICE car manufacturers, plus their suppliers? Is there likely to be a major union dismay as jobs disappear? No, because I think they'll just change slowly over to something else than a massive big difference. It will be a gradual change. It's like saying, smoking is far less popular now than it was a decade ago, but the industry hasn't been, it hasn't lost loads of jobs. That's a terrible analogy, but you get my point. I think it will happen organically, so it'll be a gradual change rather than a sudden big one. Alright, my Nissan dealer installs 30 kWh batteries in older Leafs for $9,000. that's actually quite cheap, really, to be fair. Although it's probably still cheaper to sell an old leaf that's working and then buy a new one than doing that. If you buy a leaf that's got, for pennies because the battery's absolutely knackered, that's not a price for what ultimately is a brand new car again, almost, in terms of EVs. Right, last question now, I think. Got my 24 kilowatt leaf due to this channel. Sorry. And also now with Octopus due to this channel. Apologies. Thanks for the £50. Yes, thank you as well. That the referral for Octopus has meant that I'm not going to have an electricity bill for a while. So that's good. So thank you to everyone that has used that. But the reason I push Octopus at the moment is because they're genuinely the cheapest company to be with. Agile is completely unique. No one else does that. And as I kind of proved in that other video, for the majority of people out there, they are the cheapest tariff to go on. If someone else brought out another tariff that was cheaper, I would then say, well, they're cheapest now. I'm not paid or sponsored by Octopus in any way. I'll just tell you who the cheapest is. Right, I think I'll call it a day now. So thank you to everyone that is watching this. I think the next topic will probably be on vehicle to grid, but I will let you know. Wednesday, 7 o'clock, as planned. Video on Friday will be up as normal. Don't worry about that one. So let's see how this goes. I'll probably do this for a few weeks, maybe a month, and then say, right, shall I carry on doing 2 a week plus the normal video? Drop it down to 1 a week. Who knows? Who knows? During lockdown, it's easy to do more, but once everything gets back to relative normality, I might have to force myself to go back to 1 a week. I don't know. This is quite straightforward to do, so and I quite enjoy it as well. It's much more enjoyable talking to people like this and in the comments than basically spending hours editing something and then putting the video up. So yeah, let's just see what happens, shall we? So I'm going to press the button that says End Stream now. I'm still kind of new to this Streamlabs, so if I screw it up, just expect me to screw it up. Right, okay. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.